Hello, everybody, or should I say, sup, bitches? It's Nerdgasm. We're back. We're back in this piece, as Kaleb Koho would say. I am Tim Brzakala. I am in the hosting chair. Today, we are going to be doing an exhibition match because we needed to fill a slot because we had some dropouts. Things happen. The world is on fire, but we're here nonetheless, and it's going to be fun. We've got a really, really fun exhibition match for you. Making his return to Nerdgasm for this exhibition match, we've got Kaleb Koho. Kaleb, how you doing?
I just want to be friends with Cody and Tim again and play Call of Duty Warzone.
All right, great. And his opponent tonight, making his debut in a Nerdgasm, Cody Newberry. Hi, Cody. How are you?
I'm great. The only reason I've never joined this league is because I don't want to fight Tim at any point, and I feel like that's where it would come to, so I stay away from this. But I was going to fight Boatman, but we figured that was a defenseless child, so they gave me Koho. And this doesn't count towards anything. Asterisk, if I lose, it doesn't count ever on any of my records. So I'm just here for fun. Koho almost beat me the last time we debated, so I'm a little nervous for this, but it should be fun.
Yes, Koho is a nasty, nasty little child when it comes to debate. I can speak from experience as well. On the hosting, judging desk with me today, we have Douglas Castle. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm good. I'm excited. This is this is bound to be a warpath. Even if it's an exhibition, there might be some her for words thrown at one point, and I'm just here to laugh.
Yes,
you know, because that's my saying now.
That is your new catchphrase. And also here, not to laugh, it seems like, is Maggie Brzakala. Hello, my beautiful bride. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm here to witness what will happen here. We'll see how it goes.
As she pops open another beer to pop back, we will get started right away. And again, guys, this is an exhibition match. This is for fun, but it's going to be really fun for us because we basically got, the Nerdgasm team here fighting each other, and it's really fun. I like that. That's exciting. It's going to be interesting. And we're going to get started right away with the first question, which is going to be a doozy right away, which is Disney animation. And your question is, what is the best Disney Renaissance song? So, you guys are going to get 1 minute to have an opening statement. We are going to start with, I believe, Cody. On this one, you get 1 minute to open your debate when you start talking.
Okay, so I think the best Renaissance song is The Circle of Life from Lion King. And the reason why I picked that is because all Renaissance songs have like same beats all the time. There's a sidekick song, there's an uplifting song, but this song encapsulates the movie from the start, and it has never really been redone. Even in the 2019 remake of Lion King, they still used this original towards it, added some elements, but it was still basically that song that they did because it can't be redone. It was the trailer for this movie. It stands alone. It starts the movie off right. It, like I said, it encapsulates the entire movie, and every other song in the movie does what other songs in Renaissance does, but nothing in Renaissance does what Circle of Life does. I'll explain more later.
Okay. Starting or ending about 7 seconds early, but Kaleb, it is your turn whenever you start talking.
When I think about the best Disney Renaissance song, I think about the song that I like to turn on and sing along to, and that I really can connect with, and that I have a lot of fun just listening to on its own, as its own composition. And Friend Like Me delivers on that from Aladdin. It's Robin Williams' energy. It's the life that he brings to that song that makes it unique and different from every other song that Disney put out in the Renaissance era. It covers so many different moods. It goes from sort of this manic up, and there's like these like lows in the song too, where we kind of get a breather, and then we go right back to the manic, and it's this sort of like, it's this perfect sort of encapsulation of the movie Aladdin, and also stands alone as its own song that can be listened to and enjoyed in its own little sphere. So that's why I think that makes it the best Disney Renaissance song. We'll talk about more about Circle of Life in the main notes.
Okay. stopping about 15 seconds early. But guys, go ahead and whenever one of you starts talking, you've got 5 minutes of free form. I will come in when there is about 30 seconds, 1 minute left to give you a little reminder. But otherwise, after that, we're good to go. Go ahead.
I think the main problem with Friend Like Me, it is Robin Williams. It depends on him, but like Prince Ali, and it's not the one standout song from the show. Yes, it's got the most character beats because it's Robin Williams with his comedic moments, but Prince Ali does that. But I think it's A Whole New World is the main song from Aladdin, and that's the one that's transcended. I get that you listen to it in the car, but that's really not the answer to the question. Circle of Life encapsulates the entire story, has all different beats to that story. And when you play it along with the movie, which that's how I took the question, is the best use of the song. Best song in Renaissance, it's that scene. It's that scene, that song, from the moment it breaks. And who cares if you can't sing along with it? Everybody still makes up their own lyrics to that song, and it's still fantastic, and everybody has a blast doing it. So I think Circle of Life takes it.
That's exactly the problem that you brought up right now. You picked the best scene in Disney Renaissance. The song cannot be separated from the scene, and that's because that song is not the best Disney Renaissance song. The best song is the one that lives past the movie, that lives on its own as the best Disney Renaissance song. It's the song of the Disney Renaissance era. That is not Circle of Life. Circle of Life's the best scene. Whereas Friend Like Me, it is the best song from the movie. Everyone can go, oh, A Whole New World. No, everyone thinks A Whole New World is overrated these days. Prince Ali is a worse version of Friend Like Me. It's just trying to do the same thing, but it doesn't actually capture it. Friend Like Me, on the whole, captures the spirit of the movie, and it does it in a way where you can listen to it individually from the movie, because it does have those highs and it has those lows, and it covers absolutely everything that Robin Williams is. Robin Williams is the heart of that song because he's the performer, but I think it's Genie and Friend Like Me that defines what the Disney Renaissance era songs can be and strive to be.
Yeah, that song is so great that they actually cast Will Smith, and he did his own rendition of that song. Now it changes for future Disney fans. The problem is your scene plays out totally different, because all those little moments that he has plays with the scene. The scene makes that song what it is. The different character, the different portrayals of who Genie becomes, instead of the song doesn't really play in the car because you can remember those moments, but at the end of the day, it is not without that scene. That's what makes that song even better, because the animation. Circle of Life, you can say what you want. It is the best scene, but it encapsulates the best song. That's why the scene is the best song. Like, it doesn't matter if this was best song we listened to from Disney Renaissance, sure, maybe you picked it. But best song from Renaissance, it goes with the movie. And Circle of Life literally tells the story of where the rise and fall of what's going to happen in the movie. And the best looking picture ever to go along with those songs for beat, and how the animals react to it. It's literally the perfect song of it. And it's the perfect song, and it's not all in English. Like, that's even a better story, that this is literally in Swahili. So that's like fantastic for everybody to get a culture shock for that. And it still stands today. They used it in 2019. So it's like they continued on with it. No remake, no nothing.
They did remake your song. It wasn't even the same people. It was Lebo M coming back and singing a totally different version vocally. It's a different song, but they did remake it. So, but also the problem is you just did exactly what you said that was faulted on mine. You need the animation for mine? Absolutely not. But you need the animation for yours. You remember the opening sequence when you listen. You're listening and you see the antelopes running. But with mine, you can listen to it separate from the animation because the characters are voices. You don't need the physical manifestation of those characters, because he says, "Life is your restaurant and I'm your maître d'," and it's a French accent. And it's a French accent. You don't need to see the French accent because Robin Williams is performing it so well. Whereas with your song, you are literally lost without the animation. You don't know what's happening. You have to remember the visuals of the animation in order for that song to even work. So you can't even separate yours from song from movie. Whereas mine, it works as the best compositional song in Disney Renaissance era. It's the defining one.
I'm really confused where you heard the question and I heard the question. It was best song in Disney Renaissance. No one said you have to subtract what the movie is. The movie is a part of the song. That's the key factor of this. And your song is so great that Will Smith even changed the lyrics of your song to make it fit his character. Again, it's a Robin Williams set piece, and that's the entire thing. So when they did change up the animation, you said, "When life's your restaurant, I'm your maitre d'." He literally opens and his head sitting there, and it's the funny moments. That's the part of this movies that you relate to. Circle of Life, you don't have to. Circle of Life, you don't have to have everybody the song plays, the words play out what the animation is. You don't need to. You can literally picture it in your mind while you're singing along with it. Circle of Life is the one that encapsulates the story. Prince Ali is a better, and A Whole New World is the song from that movie. It's the standalone.
You literally just did it again. People can picture what the story is. The song's not in English. If you don't have a translation, you do not know what that song is about. It's the
when
story.
Blinking stepped into the
story.
sun?
It's the story of the visuals in the movie that make that song any good. The song subtracted from the movie is not good because we're arguing the best song. We're not arguing the best scene. You are arguing the best scene in Disney Renaissance because that song is the scene, but it's not the best individual song on its own because you can't enjoy it on its own. Whereas Friend Like Me is better than Prince Ali. Prince Ali is trying to do exactly what Friend Like Me did for the entire time, but it can't. It's not as good, and A Whole New World is not even nearly the most defining movie of the song because everyone thinks it's overrated this time, whereas A Friend Like Me is the defining song. It captures exactly the spirit of that movie, and you can have the song as a perfect composition of the movie.
It's about a movie, not a song. Like
yes, it is. It's about the song. It's the argument of the song. You argued the movie.
Time.
It plays both.
All right.
So strike both. He said after time.
All right. So, we are gonna start with Cody for his. Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes,
yeah, you started last time. So we'll start with Caleb. You get 45 seconds.
Minute.
It'll be changed to a minute.
I think it's a minute. I don't know. I don't care. It's fine. Just let me. Just let me
tell
talk.
me what to
Exhibition.
I'll
We'll
finish
go
whenever
1
I
minute.
finish. It's fine.
We'll go 1 minute. Time is yours, Caleb. When you start.
Cody keeps saying that we have to keep the scene and the movie together and the song together. We're not arguing the best scene of the movie, which is what he's been doing. He's been arguing how the song and that scene is defining because it's the trailer. But the problem is you don't understand that song without the scene. It's the emotional crux of the animation and the way those animals are going to Simba that makes that song any sort of impact. Whereas Friend Like Me can be taken away. You don't need to see the head on the platter. That's a visual that helps you in the movie, but on your own, the song, you get all the emotion, all the visuals, everything you need to know about those characters within that composition and can enjoy it and sing along to it on your own time without the movie playing with it. It's the song that defines that era of Disney Renaissance because that's where it peaked. That's the moment where every Disney movie has tried to do that song again. You tried to do Hakuna Matata, you couldn't live up to Friend Like Me, stuff like that. So when it comes down to it, Friend Like Me captures Aladdin's emotional spirit and the Disney Renaissance era as a whole. You don't need the movie with it, whereas yours is the best scene, mine is the best song.
2, 1, time. Okay. Cody, minute whenever you start talking.
Judges, I don't want to get twisted here. The category I picked was Disney animation, not scores and soundtracks. So this plays into the entire movie, and that is the best song. Song is a part of movies. His song has been done before. Guess what? Under the Sea, Be Our Guest. Those songs are those classic sidekick songs that are good. Hakuna Matata. Those are fun songs. Those are have fun moments. But guess what? He can listen to it in his car, but when you talk about the scene alone, Circle of Life is that scene that starts the movie off with a bang, gets you to see that the character of Simba and the moments that he says are not in English. Most of the song is in English, and when you see Simba get raised with that song behind it, it's just an amazing visual. It's one that if they changed a little bit, they didn't change much of it. Friend Like Me literally was changed for Will Smith to sing, so the song can be changed or redid. Circle of Life stays true throughout the entire song, and it's the one that stands out. Whole New World is the song from Aladdin that people will stand up, not Friend Like Me.
2,
Animation's important.
1. Pens down. Whatever.
We just did trivia. It's fine.
You know what I meant. Okay, we're gonna bring in the judges here. I'm gonna start off. This was a great fight. This is going to be a fun exhibition. There was a lot of really good back and forth. I think I liked where Caleb was going with a lot of his arguments of, like we're talking about song, we're not talking about the scene itself, but Cody combating that, saying the categories, Disney animation, like we're not talking about scores and soundtracks, like I'm taking it as the scene overall. I think both kind of portrayed why their song was really good. In the end, I think I'm going to give it to Caleb. I think he just had a little bit more about why his song was better overall than Circle of Life for his movie and for the Renaissance era than Cody for Circle of Life. But that's just me. I'll go to Doug next.
Yeah, I agree with Tim. The jabs were thrown back and forth. The one argument that I heard that I didn't hear Caleb counter argue was why Friend Like You was the best song on Aladdin when Cody hit him with it's not even the one that people are the most like kind of like iconic version to pull out of that, which was Part of the World. I didn't hear Caleb kind of jab at why Circle of Life wasn't the best song on a Lion King. So Cody gets my point right there.
All right. So Maggie, it comes down to you.
No. Well, so I get what they were both arguing in terms of, are we talking about song, are we talking about movie? And I get all of Kayle's arguments about how Friend Like Me is like a song might stand on its own better than Circle of Life does. But I agree with Cody that it's more than just the song. Like, I think that, like, sorry, but Friend Like Me isn't going to make my dad cry. Like, Circle of Life made my dad literally weep in public. So, like, I think that movie really does bring something, and it really does encapsulate the movie, like Cody said. And also when Koho said that Friend Like Me is the best song in the movie and it encapsulates what the movie is, I totally disagree with that. Like, the movie is, while it is about Genie and Aladdin's relationship, like, it's about Jasmine and Aladdin. Like, don't pretend that it's not. So I'm going to give the point to Cody.
All right. So point number 1 goes to Mr. Newberry. Who would have thunk it that I went with Caleb and not my dear, dear friend, while everyone else went against me? It's fine. This is going to be stressful. I'm going to get shot in Call of Duty later. Okay. Let's move on to the next question, which is going to be in the category of DC. And the question is, what DC character should get the Joker movie treatment? We are going to start with Caleb on this one. Caleb, 1 minute whenever you start talking.
I think if we're going to tackle another DC movie villain, we got to go in a different direction than the Joker. We've already gotten our street level gritty crime psychopath that's taken over to their level. I want to do a different aspect of DC villainry and make them the subject, the portrait of this character portrayal. And that's why I chose Lex Luthor. I think if you did an Aaron Sorkin Social Network-esque white collar crime movie with Lex Luthor, it could be completely or entirely compelling, especially when the villain of the movie is an all-powerful super alien from space that is trying to win the public's perception of being a hero, and having Lex Luthor be the only person standing against that, I think is a really cool idea. That in because on a comic book movie character level, Lex Luthor in any other story is the hero except for Superman's, and so tackling that idea of those two minds meeting in this sort of white collar crime Aaron Sorkin-esque drama depiction of a businessman like Lex Luthor and the mastermind manipulator that he is would be an incredibly compelling film that I would love to see.
2, 1. Okay. We are going to move over to Cody. 1 minute whenever you start talking.
So I went with the Riddler. I think the Riddler, not to stay in the same Batman genre, I just think the Riddler has never really been done to its fullest on screen. And to start as a scientist that kind of gets like undercut and kind of made into the crazy guy he is. And it could be kind of like a horror type movie, like a, not, I wouldn't say like a Saw type thing, but like certain traps that you have to solve, like the riddle and stuff. And it doesn't have to involve Batman. It could be involve like local police officer stuff like that. I think that'd be a really interesting take on like a Batman villain. And not as zany as Jim Carrey, but let's have him fun, but treat him like the actual scientist and like genius that he honestly is. And I think that would go over really well. Again, I don't have Sorkin right in mind, but I don't care who writes it. I just think the overall plot of it would make sense because that's a character that we need to see. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the Riddler versus Lex Luthor movie. Guys, 5 minutes of freeform. I'll come in to cut you off at 1 minute whenever you guys start.
We've already seen the Riddler movie with the Joker movie. They have very similar sympathetic backgrounds and sort of rise to being a criminal mastermind that deals with Batman. I feel like I've already seen it. Whereas with with a Riddler movie, it feels like a lot of a retread of a lot of the same Joker beats. He's a sympathetic character, and if you want to make him a hero in the situation, the Riddler, when he becomes a villain, is not sympathetic anymore. He's just a crazy SOB that fucks with Batman because the police can't handle him. And if you're saying no Batman, then you have to make the police the villains. That's what you said, and that's a one-sided battle that's over in 30 minutes. A Lex Luthor story is one that could delve into a lot of ideas that we have never really explored in the DCU or in DC in general, with this guy who's come from privilege and is thinking he's the hero, and this sort of master manipulator, knows how to control people and knows how to get what he wants, and then someone more powerful than him comes along, and how does he deal with that idea? I think that's a lot more of an interesting concept than a Joker 2 with a guy with a question mark.
I mean, yeah, you can say it's Joker 2, but Joker is literally, seen as the crazy clown, and you can get what you want. Again, you can take different, just because it's a way in a comic doesn't mean you just take the character and make it your own story. He doesn't have to overpower. He doesn't have to be crazy. And we've already seen like a crazy billionaire rise to power takes it. It's called Donald Trump, the movie, and I don't want to see Lex Luthor become that. No offense. I don't care about Superman is not good in the public eye anymore. I mean, if you can say what you want, but his movies have not been that successful anymore. So at the end of the day, I don't think we want to see that. And the last version of Type That character was Jesse Eisenberg, and it was really bad. If you want to see a bald guy take over streets, I want to see the Kingpin movie. I don't want to see a Lex Luthor movie because I don't feel like that character. And plus, you have to have Superman in that movie, and Superman will overshine Lex Luthor. That's the problem. I think setting up traps, setting up the riddle to start the game. Yes, you'll include Batman later because that's what they're planning on doing with Joker now. But you include that. That could be the setup leading into a Batman movie. Let him have his own story. Let him see the demise of who the Riddler becomes, and then Batman has to stop him in the next movie. I think that would be genius.
We've already seen your movie. It's called Joker. And setting it up for a Batman 2, that is 100% true. And the thing is, you're trying to pitch this like criminal mastermind who can handle the police. That movie's not interesting to me. The Riddler is just not a character that can sustain his own movie. The last time we saw the Joker was Jim Carrey, so people are going to be expecting something like that. Whereas with Lex Luthor is a character that needs to be done better than the Jesse Eisenberg version. And the thing is, Superman is not the focus of the movie. He's not the draw. He's a secondary, ancillary figure in the background. You see blurs. You see this. That's the beauty of it. We've been able to pull something like that off in a horror version like Brightburn. Now, take the idea of a horror Superman and make him an ancillary character that shows up, maybe only comes face to face with Lex Luthor once in the movie, and it's Lex Luthor in this sort of mental mind game battle with the public and trying to convince people that Superman is evil. And the thing is, it's not a Donald Trump story. It's not, because Lex Luthor is not a Donald Trump character. He actually is a calculating, cunning character that knows how to say and when to say things, which is why he would be able to use the power of persuasion and words in a way that you've never seen a villain use. And that's why Lex Luthor works more as a protagonist. The Riddler just doesn't work as a protagonist.
Well, you're telling me that it wouldn't work, but I'm telling you about a billionaire that has to convince the media to end up stealing an election, like stealing the public eye. That's called Donald Trump. I'm sorry, you can say what you want, and it could be a weird tactic to use, but I'm telling you, I don't think the character of an inner-sized businessman convincing the media lasts for 2 hours, especially when there's a hero on the earth that can literally stop him, and you're just using him as a solo character behind the scenes. I don't even know where that story goes. It doesn't, and you said mine is the Joker. Well, fine. It's a Joker movie treatment. It's a superhero, a villain to get that public eye. And he does it different than what Joker is. Joker went a totally different way than what Joker honestly is. He's a super person. So with him setting up traps and setting up the little things, that's something that you don't know about. And then it sets into the Batman world. Give him his setup. Let us know what the villain's all about. And then introduce Batman. The same thing that we're doing Joker. Lex Luthor is a boring character. And I don't want to watch C-SPAN the movie tell me a breakdown of what he's doing to the media, sending out tweets and convincing people.
A Riddler movie that you have is 45 minutes. It's a setup for a movie that I would rather watch a sequel to. The problem is Lex Luthor is not a battle with the media person. He's a character that is trying to convince you that Superman is the bad guy, and Superman can't stop Lex Luthor. That's the thing. Every time he tries to put Lex Luthor away, Lex Luthor comes back because Lex Luthor is a white-collar criminal. He never can go away. And that puts that, like, that competition of these two in this battle of brain versus brawn is a much more interesting story than Riddler sitting here with a question mark on his head saying, I got bullied and now I'm going to kill cops. There's nothing sympathetic about that. Nothing sympathetic about that. Nothing sympathetic about that.
Time. Okay.
He did blah, 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 blah after the time, so count it out. I don't know what he said.
Blah, 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 that's fine. You can cut it.
Alrighty then. Okay. Cody, you are going to start. You get 1 minute to close out your argument.
I think it's really weird that he says that my movie's 45 minutes, Joker was 2 hours, and it worked out perfectly. So you could see him as the start of a scientist and, bosses undermining him, not thinking he's smart enough, and him proving the factor and the mental mind games in that movie, kind of like what his movie is, but his movie is boring at this time. Superman's there, but you don't get to see him. He convinces everybody that Superman's bad, by tweets, emails? What is the point of that movie? He says mine's boring, but I would be bored to tears watching him in the computer in the lab saying, we can say that he pushed an old woman in front of traffic. Like, how do you say Superman's bad besides his immigration policy? I'm telling you, this man's Trump. So I don't believe that this is the movie for what DC is going to do. I think the Riddler would be a fun mind game to set up a world inside the Batman. Get inside the villain, because every superhero movie just tells the villain who he is, and he just shows up and he gets eliminated. But if you have a setup for a villain, that makes you have a thing. And Neil Patrick Harris is that character would actually be pretty good.
Time. Okay. Caleb, get a minute to close your argument whenever you start.
You say my movie's boring, but The Social Network's one of your favorite movies of all time, and it's literally the same story. It's the same story of a man who has to fight the perception of who he is and what he's against. I'm pitching you The Social Network, a Mark Zuckerberg-like character called Lex Luthor, who is trying to stop his enemy, who is an alien, and does not trust him because no one else can see the villain in front of them. Superman is the villain of the movie. That's not boring. That's The Social Network. That is a Best Picture nominee in disguise. Your movie is literally nothing. You keep pitching me sets up traps, and kills the police officers. There's nothing enticing about that. Yours is just trying to do the Joker, but you don't have the emotional backbone or story to carry a Joker runtime, or a character as nearly as compelling to carry a Joker runtime, whereas I do. I have a totally different layout and a world to explore, and a whole different cast of characters to include. You can have Lois Lane in there as a thorn in Lex Luthor's side. You have all the different people at LexCorp that can provide supporting characters. There's so much more to explore with Lex Luthor. We've already seen Riddler. It's called Joker.
Time. Okay. Hoofta-dee-doo, Doug. Yeah. This was fun. This was a great fight. I actually really like the pitch of both of these, but I actually am not going to go first. Never mind. Wait. We're going to start with Doug. You get to go first.
I can't hear Doug.
You're muted.
Oh, you're muted, my brother.
That's a great start. I'm actually interested in the Social Network Lex Luthor movie, especially since we have Jesse Eisenberg already in the DC universe. But no, I think both pitched a really excellent movie. Coming down to it, it was super thin. I think I'm gonna go with Lex Luthor. I think it sounds interesting. The Riddler aspect I get, but I didn't get much of a plot or where we would go with it, other than it'd be a great setup for a sequel.
Okay, so 1 point for Caleb there. Maggie, where are you going on this one?
Yeah, so I'm also gonna go with Lex Luthor because I think that Caleb's argument that really we've already seen a movie where one of Batman's villains is like a normal person and then somehow falls into depression because society is the worst. And I'm really not interested in seeing that movie again. And there weren't a whole lot of other things provided that made me interested in that movie of how it would be different from Joker, where I think that Lex Luthor can really exist in his own movie independent of Superman, where I'm not sure that Riddler would be able to do that.
All right. Well, that means Caleb does get this point. I am once again the odd man out. I thought this was Cody's, honestly, 100%. I thought that Caleb didn't really do a lot to, combat Cody, other than saying it's a Joker movie. It's Joker again. I didn't really get anything other than that for most of Caleb's argument. I will say that I liked both pitches. I would want to see both of those movies. I think an Oscar-centered Lex Luthor movie does sound pretty dope. But at the same time, I love Cody's pitch of like a Saw-esque, like Riddler traps him against the police type thing. I like that pitch as well. So I would have gone Cody personally, but I am just the odd man out tonight. That's okay. It is now 1-1. 1 Caleb, 1 Cody. That means next question is Pixar. And the question is, what Pixar movie that hasn't had a sequel should get a sequel? We are going to start with Cody on this one. Whenever you start talking, Cody, you're good to go. You get a minute.
There was a movie that came out, and it dealt with emotions. And some person on this group thinks it's one of the most overrated movies of all time, and I would tell him he's 100% incorrect on that. And this is Inside Out. I think Inside Out created this insane mega world that you could go into and have Riley either be older, struggling through college, something that a lot of people like hasn't seen in a full movie, like of the emotions of what a person goes through, and like. Or has her as a mom. I think those characters, as they grow and develop, even the emotions themselves, set up this world perfectly. It's something that it sat with me. That movie is so emotionally wrecking at times because it tackles what it is to be as a child, and you have to put yourself back in the shoes. But to be something more realistic, while people are growing up from the Pixar world that grew up with the Toy Stories and stuff, is something that you can dive into and see the actual emotion and see like the mental health side, depression, stuff like that people have to go through when they get older. I think would just be a beautiful story to tell.
Okay, Caleb. 1 minute to open your argument whenever you start talking.
I think we can all agree the best Pixar movie of all time is Monsters, Inc. It's a film that deals with your fears and also looking past appearances and finding the truth. And I think a sequel to this movie is needed now more than ever, especially if you can go back into the world of Monsters, Inc. and find something else to do. A sequel to continue forward where you find out that maybe laughter wasn't the key and that there's another key that they need to do. There's a different emotion that they need to spark to fix their society. Boo coming back and wrapping up that plot line with Sully that we had a tease for at the end, I think would be extremely interesting. There's a whole lot of different places you can go. Mike Wazowski and Sully are an incredibly charismatic duo. There's the reason why we got the prequel. And I think that continuing their story forward is a story that we should look into and explore doing, and looking to see another story with these characters that deals maybe more on fear, on looking at appearances and seeing that they can be deceiving and finding the truth in the heart of what people really are like. And I think it'd be a much more interesting and compelling Pixar sequel than anything we've gotten so far.
Okay. All right. Definitely not trying to sway the judges whatsoever. Kaleb Koho with his opening statement, but we will move on. Guys, 5 minutes of free form whenever one of you starts talking.
Can we stop already? We've been through college. Where are we going? The senior citizens home? Listen, Mike and Sully, that's the perfect thing of Monsters, Inc. I'm one that stands by it. The shot when he sees Boo, that is enough. That sends out perfectly. That's an emotional beat that you get to see. I don't want to see her have to come back and rise against another power. What do you mean that the laughter wasn't the answer? That clearly was the answer. You don't need to go any farther. That movie is perfect, and even the prequel is good. Inside Out gives a world of one character that you can go through, but you could literally go through a bunch of different other people, and I still think that you should use Riley. I just think Riley should be older at this point. And then Riley's emotions through different sides, because joy, sadness, all those characters were so captivating. And as you can see in the older ones, with the mom and dad, they get older, they develop even more, they know what the importance of it is, and they could find new struggles. It's a all open world. Yours is closed. It doesn't need to be reopened.
Yours is a world that should have never even thought about continuing a sequel in the first place, because it's done. We've seen what it looks like to be an adult. That's her parents. What do you want to do? Go back into Riley's world and see the emotional fake boyfriend magazine thing again? That world is closed, and I have no interest in reopening it. Her as an adult is just the adult side plot that was in the original, and it's all perfectly wrapped up in that one movie. I don't need to taint the original further by exploiting a sequel, because guess what? There's nowhere to go. That movie's done. We've covered it all. The adults cover the subplots of everything you want to do. That if we go further, you're breaking the original. The thing with Monsters, Inc. is that it's not broken. We've already gone back. We can go further. Laughter does not need to be the answer. You can think higher than where the movie left us because there's more story to tell. Imagine Mike and Sully doing, you don't even have to bring back Boo. Imagine Mike and Sully having to figure out there's more to even Monsters, the Sit Monstropolis, that they don't understand. Imagine exploring Monstropolis further.
Okay.
I don't need to go further in Riley's brain. It's a closed book.
Well, what you're saying, that's fine. You get those small bits of the mom, but you don't get to see. I think the college life would be something very interesting to see. Somebody struggles with the emotional things, friendships that they don't really get to develop. She had to move, but I'm thinking that's a moment that you think. And you're literally just changing the plot point to make your things movie. Maybe Happiness is it. What, did they become a murder mystery squad and go around and finding out mysteries of Monsters Metropolis? That sounds stupid. They finished off the sequel perfectly. They finished off the prequel. The movie ended in this that emotional mode that Boo is in safe and he sees her okay finally, and that's fine enough. Those characters are done and that story is perfect. You don't want to go through it. What you want to create is Cars 3, something that's unnecessary, something that just adds on to it, when you can literally have Inside Out and have way more emotional moments than just when she's
You want to do something worse and make Cars 2 with Inside Out because the post-credit scene showed her in college. The post-credit scene we've already grown up with her through all those little quick cuts.
No.
Post-credit scenes, yes you did. You already saw everything that you are pitching. It's done in the first movie. The movie's done. Leave it. Monsters, Inc., there's at least a world that we can explore with different characters with Mike and Sully being involved. There's more to do. What if the factory just isn't working anymore and they have to figure out why the laughter's gone? You can do so many different ideas with Monsters, Inc. further to say that Boo's story's done. Sure, then don't bring her back. But Mike and Sully's story can go anywhere. Riley's story is done because the post-credit scene covered everything that you're pitching. There is nowhere left to go in the world of Inside Out unless you do a totally new story.
Okay.
And I'm not interested
I would like to take a pause here because he's wrong, because at the end of the post-credit scene, it's a bunch of scenes of other people's emotions inside their head, not the same character. No, that's incorrect. That's 100%
no, you're incorrect.
false.
You haven't seen your movie.
So my only viewpoint is there's emotions. There's a bunch of different characters that you can think. The world is already expanded and bigger, and when they get older, new problems arise. That is something that you can touch. That could be more of a teenage type Pixar movie that they can literally handle. They've handled death. They've handled so many different emotions, and that's something that you can build upon. Monsters, Inc. is a done story that you just want to change how it works just to make sure. And now you even said in your last argument, and you get really loud and mad when you know you're losing an argument. That's what is cute. But Monsters, Inc., you literally said Mike and Sully, they can just be there, but we get new characters. Okay, then I'll get a new person named Jack, and he'll be my new character with a new emotions. No.
And that's the problem that you just pitched.
I'm telling you, Riley,
you just pitched it then.
On.
What you just pitched is making it an anthology series. I'm not interested in seeing what Jack the 4-year-old did in the original one. You just said that. I'm not interested in taking the emotions into account in someone else's body. And if you want to keep going with Riley, it's covered. You have not seen your movie. The post-credit scenes literally cover her at older ages in her life. That is what that post-credit scene is. I'm not, and you throw barbs whenever you know you're lying. But the thing is, Monsters, Inc., Boo's story's done. That's how that movie ends. But you can use Mike and Sully in further ways. They're thinking of even doing a TV show continuation on Disney Plus. I want to see the feature film continuation of Monsters, Inc., where they have to deal with the factory. What if the factory's broken? What if there's something else going on in the monster world?
Fixing people? What the hell, Micro?
Because they are the ones that we care about. Riley's story's over. Grow up, Cody.
Time.
Grow up. How dare you? How dare you?
Cody's rant strike.
Shush. Everybody quiet. All right. We're going to start with Kaleb on this, if I'm not mistaken. Kaleb, you get a minute whenever to close your argument. Whatever.
Cody can sit here and say, we could jump to different periods of time and watch what happens with Riley's emotions, but the fact is you're retreading the original then. You're just going back to the well of doing the original again with the same scenarios and all sorts of different different conflicts that we've already covered. The entire movie of Inside Out spans one section of her life in the main runtime, and the post-credit scene gives you insights to what each part is. The parents already cover what it looks like to be an adult. I don't need a full movie of that mundane scene. The thing is, Monsters, Inc. ended Boo's story. So if you want to take Boo out of it, that's fine. But Monsters, Inc. 2 can follow Mike and Sully doing any number of things. You can go back and explore the idea that people don't look like fear is not the thing that we need to hold on to, and that we should not be afraid of differences or what other people look like. You could explore that in Monsters Inc. I think that's a movie that we really need right now. I think you could do so much more with Mike and Sully. Like what if the laughter stops working? I know I've said that before, but imagine if you go into that concept and they have to find a new solution, or someone's tampering with the laughter. The thing is, Inside Out story is written and done. There's more places to go with Monsters Inc.
One time. Okay. Oh God. No. Okay.
Yeah, literally inside the teacher's mind, not Riley. You're an idiot. Know your stories before you try to throw barbs. At the end of the day, you want to just change reality show of Mike and Sully get new jobs inside Monstropolis, and because laughter didn't work, because I need a debate question answered, and this is the only one because this is Tim's favorite movie. Your thing is a joke. Going through real struggles of what a college age or even married or something like that you don't get to see, and like still bounce between multiple people's emotions. That's something you don't even see. Like Riley could have kids and you have to bounce in between their emotions and how they're feeling, have an entire emotion side. That's something that is interesting. You can tell, you can walk a line to show people where they struggle with mental health or anything like that. Depression, I think, is a key thing that needs to be talked about now. And if a kid's movie, maybe kids will be able to identify faster that they do struggle with that stuff. So I think that's something that you can actually do. Mike and Sully have been beat to death at this point, so you just are trying to suck Tim's dick at this point. So I don't understand what the point is. Mike and
time.
Dumb.
Okay.
I will turn this debate around.
All right, Maggie, you get to start this time.
No.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, okay. I think that both had good arguments. I understand what Koho is saying about seeing something post Monsters Inc. with Mike and Sully. However, I will also note that his answer to this question is very cheaty to start with, and I don't appreciate it, because the question is, what Pixar movie that doesn't have a sequel? I understand that it's a prequel, but in reality, it's the second movie in the series. But I wouldn't mind seeing Mike and Sully again. However, I think that there is so much more to do with Inside Out. There's lots of different things to explore. I agree with Cody. Koho was talking about the end credits scene. I was like, that's not what it's about. So I looked it up on YouTube to confirm that was true. And I think that seeing Riley at a different age, though I guess it might not appeal as well to children, but seeing her older, like my age, would be something that I'd be super into. Or even if it's just like a different character and a different story, but still with that same like emotions, I would definitely be into that. So I'm going to give the point to Cody.
Okay. It is now my turn. This was tough because I love both these movies. Monsters Inc. is my favorite movie, but I do love Inside Out. I want to see another movie from both of these. Hashtag Soul, hashtag Secret Sequel, hashtag 20. But I'm going to give my point to Cody because I got what Koho's pitch as a whole was about, but he kept like throwing things and then kind of like changing what his pitch was to combat Cody, whereas Cody kind of, gave his pitch, he stuck with his guns and kind of said like, no, this is what my movie is. I think you could do this and this. And Kaleb was just kind of like changing his movie at any moment, saying, oh, well, fine. If you don't want Boo, you don't have to have Boo. Stuff like that. I think that he was kind of just like moving around and kind of all over the place when Cody would attack. So I don't think his defense was super strong, although I do like some of the ideas that he had. But overall, I'm going to give my point to Cody. So that means Cody gets the third point. Is now 2-1. Doug, you didn't get to judge on this one, but what would you have gone with?
Guys, we're all in unison. It happened finally tonight. I think what Cody pitched was like the better of the two. It seems like Kaleb didn't have a honest, clear-cut vision of what his movie was going to be, and Cody kind of gave us what it would be. Y'all chose the wrong movie though. Onward's the one. Onward. I
would have picked Onward.
It's fandom rules. It hasn't been.
I know. I'm totally pissed to Onward sequel. Fuck.
You guys forgot about Coco also.
I do not want them to touch Coco ever.
I don't want another death movie, but okay.
We're getting one this year. We're getting one this year.
We're getting Soul, baby. That movie looks dope.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, we're going to go to the final question. Caleb needs to hit this one to stay alive and into the next, to go to the speed round. The category is Oscars, and the question is, what Best Animated Feature winner should also have been nominated for Best Picture? So a bit of a loaded question, but I think we'll survive. Caleb, we are going to start with you on this one. You get 1 minute whenever you start talking.
Let's go back to the year 2003. When you look at the Best Picture nominees in a world of 5 nominees, what world is Seabiscuit better than Finding Nemo? I'm sorry, a movie about a horse that wins a race. Whoopee! It beat the emotionally powerful and resonant story of Finding Nemo, a story that deals with protective parents, learning to let go and trust your kids, as well as the kid learning to trust your parent. There is something in that movie for everyone as well. So full, entirely colorful world of characters, and the actual journey that they go on, the physical journey and the emotional one, is super powerful and emotionally resonant to watch and enjoy. It's infinitely rewatchable to see Albert Brooks' performance as Marlin, as well as Ellen DeGeneres' story, and that trip that they go on to find Nemo, while Nemo is finding himself in the fish tank, and Marlin finds himself off as well along the way in Dory. It's a movie about self-discovery and learning how to be okay with the unpredictable. And I think Finding Nemo has so much more to say in that time than Seabiscuit.
Time. Okay. Cody, you now get 1 minute to open your argument whenever you start talking.
So you can call it what you want. You can call it a cheap punch. You can call it any way you would like. Mine has 10 nominations. The year I picked selected only 8. So that means 2 movies got missed out on because of those, just because. And mine would be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, arguably the best comic book movie to come out that year. You can debate the Avengers, I get it. But Black Panther was nominated over this one. Also, Vice and Green Book and Bohemian Rhapsody. All those movies are good. Don't get me wrong, I like those. But Spider-Verse is something that has never been done before. Brought a comic book actually to life, threw it on screen, and made people fall in love. It told a very important story. It told a superhero of color and the rise and all the different superheroes. Oh, so close.
All right. You both get 5 minutes of freeform whenever one of you starts talking.
Okie dokie. So you tried to take one of my favorite movies in Spider-Verse series against me. I'm going to tell you, you're wrong. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse as a film is a fun film. It's a good story. There's nothing special in the story of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse to make it more emotionally relevant or powerful at the time than Green Book, which is about racial divides, or than Bohemian Rhapsody, which is about a homosexual pop star and what is the importance of coming out and being okay with who you are, and Vice, which is about the dangers of political power. All those movies important in that year. Problem with Spider-Verse, there's nothing special about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse that you haven't already seen in the MCU Spider-Man or in any other superhero movie. Every theme and trope touched upon in Spider-Verse has been done. No one is yet to replicate Finding Nemo as accurately as Finding Nemo.
I think it's weird. You can say what you want, but please tell me why it couldn't have filled one of those other spots. Why it couldn't have been nominated. That's a problem with the Academy itself. It does tell a beautiful story. It tells a story of uplift. And sorry, you can say whatever MCU say. This is the first one of a Spider-Man to take the Miles Morales approach and to deal with the life of that kid trying to find himself in this world with other characters that possess the same power as him and not understanding why his life is, and to have his uncle betray him. It's something beautiful that you don't see, and it's literally does A movie is not just its story alone. It's like how you put it on screen. And the Roma got it basically for cinematography. So I'm telling you, the way they brought a comic book to life is beautiful. Finding Nemo is a fine movie, but those 5 movies were good for the time that they came out. Yeah, Seabex hasn't aged well, but that is a great sports story about horse racing. You don't like horse racing, and that's fine. You don't have to like horse racing.
You don't like Black Panther, and that's fine. You don't like Black Panther.
You cannot tell me why Spider-Verse did not deserve a nomination that year when there's 10 spots and 8 got taken. You can't tell me. You don't
like Vice or Black Panther. That's fine. I think Seabiscuit did not deserve the spot, period. It's not a movie that should be in there over a powerful movie about family and emotion. Your movie has been done before. That's the problem. They have best animated feature for movies that are animated that look beautiful. That's why it won. But as the best movie of the year, no, it was not nominated for Best Movie of the Year because it didn't deserve it, Cody. Just accept that. There was nothing special about the story, and the visual storytelling is why it won animated feature. The thing about Finding Nemo is that the story itself was better than 3 of the 5 Best Picture nominees that year. That's the difference between our movies.
So can you tell me what Black Panther does completely different than what Spider-Verse does? Because I'm telling you, Spider-Verse tells a beautiful story. And just because maybe you didn't like it as much, I don't think you've ever seen Seabiscuit. I can guarantee that. You're just picking the one movie that's weak on that list because you also haven't seen Return of the King. You have no clue what those movies are. The overall movie of Spider-Verse is a picture of a comic book bringing to life with the emotional elements of him struggling through the worlds of learning superpowers. It doesn't have to be an original story. It doesn't have to be an original story. Bohemian Rhapsody was about Freddie Mercury, but a lip sync performance from Rami Malek.
Argue why it shouldn't have won Best Actor then, Cody. The thing is,
that's not the question.
Okay, too bad. Then why are you arguing it shouldn't have been nominated for Best Picture? That's not the question either. The problem with Spider-Verse is that it's been done. That movie is Spider-Man. That is the 8th version of Spider-Man, and it covers the same things that Peter Parker's origins. But they just changed the character's name. They changed the character's name and his situation, but it's the same origin story. That's all it is. And the animation's beautiful. That's why it wins Best Animated Feature.
But yes, so same reason Finding Nemo won. Black Panther is the Lion King. I don't know what you're telling me. Guess what? Stories get redone. And the same year, the year prior, or the year is Stars Born is there. And that's a remake, and it got nominated. So you're telling me it does nothing original, but that movie gets nominated and my movie doesn't because it's the 8th Spider-Man movie? That makes no sense. It tells a brand new portrayal of Spider-Man with brand new characters, with changing a way that you've never seen. You've never seen multiple Spider-Mans and a multiverse that's changed in. You're using it and grabbing at straws because you think you don't know how to combat it. Your movie is literally a good story of animation, but there are 5 strong nominees, and there was only 5, and animated feature only came out that previous years. So they gave it to it. The Academy wasn't ready. This is up to 10. 8 got nominated. Mine did not. Tell me why you can't.
Because it's not one of the 10 best movies of the year. You're just too ignorant to accept it. All the movies nominated are more important than Spider-Verse. My movie is still important to this day. The most emotionally relevant movie that was made that year. Better than 3 of the nominees, and they didn't nominate it because it was animated. That's the problem. Yours wasn't nominated because it's the 8th story.
What's the problem with Seabiscuit? What's the problem with
Seabiscuit? What's wrong with it? Seabiscuit is a by-the-numbers movie. Mine is not. Mine literally got a screenplay nomination because of the story, and the entire movie.
What's wrong with Seabiscuit? What's wrong with Seabiscuit?
That's what the argument.
You never seen
it.
You've never seen it.
I already made the point. You're trying to divert my
argument. Time. Okay. Cody, you get to start on this. Start on closing it out. 1 minute whenever you start talking.
I'm just saying there's 10 spots, 8 nominations at 1 Best Animated Feature. It could clearly have been put in that spot. He's saying that it's because it's the remake. Well, guess what? Star is Born was nominated. It was a jukebox musical like Bohemian Rhapsody. Well, those have been done before. There's millions of other ones. The problem is that he has an entire list of movies that he's never seen. He's just grasping at the weakest one because he knows Seabiscuit's about a horse. That's basically all it says. Finding Nemo has a story, but guess what? Pixar has done those stories numerous times. And yes, Finding Nemo is a beautiful one, but I don't think it deserves it over any of the other ones. There was only 5 nominees, and that one clearly deserved it. Seabiscuit, Mystic River, Master and Commander, Lost in Translation, and Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, 4 movies that he's probably never watched before. Those are great movies that year. That encapsulates the year. I think that's fine. But when you have 8 nominations and you can have 10, the movie that won Best Animated Feature was good enough to win that category. It could clearly win. It could clearly get nominated in Best Picture. 5, that is a deserved award. It tells its story. 3, it doesn't matter if it's a remake. 2, it's a good story.
1 time. Okay. Caleb, 1 minute whenever you start talking.
So in Cody Newberry's eyes, the definitive year of 2003 is 2 action epics, one that ends a franchise, by the numbers sports movie, and Lost in Translation, which is a beautiful picture of depression and mundanity. That's why I'm arguing that Finding Nemo belongs with Lost in Translation and Return of the King in there. The thing is, Master and Commander and Seabiscuit are both okay movies. Finding Nemo is still being talked about to this day. It was the first movie in Pixar to actually deal with that kind of story and that emotional complex. So you want to argue that it should have been done later. Mine's still the best one. The thing is, you don't like the movies in your year. That's fine. There's 10 spots, but they vote on the movies that they think should fit. If there's 8, that's because they felt only 8 deserved it. And guess what? That's because it only did deserve 8. Spider-Verse is not original, and A Star is Born did something original with the original version, and Bohemian Rhapsody did something new with the version of story with Freddie Mercury. That's the problem. Spider-Verse did nothing new. It looked pretty. It won animated feature because it was a great animated movie. Finding Nemo's a great movie because of the story and the characters and the heart that it has, better than the movies nominated that year.
Time. Okay, boys and girls.
What do you think the record for words spoken per minute is?
I want Coy, Jandrew, and I to sit down and have a talk off and see who can talk faster.
But Coy makes sense. Go ahead.
All right. I get to start this one. Shit. Okay, I think I'm gonna go and give my point. I can't look at anyone when I do this. I think I'm gonna give it to Cody. I think because right out of the gate, I loved his argument about, you know, there were only the ability to have 10 nominees. Why wasn't this one there? It was better than this a movie for these reasons. Kaleb had a lot to say about, you know, Seabiscuit and why it was a by the numbers sports movie, and that's why Nemo should have been in there, but didn't really get to those other things at the end. I think Caleb's closing was really, really strong, but he didn't really give me enough during the main round to sway him. Cody kind of came out right away and never really like backed down, gave a lot of good reasons for Spider-Verse, you know, combating with the, oh, it's been, you know, done so many times already. Well, so has, you know, other things there. Yeah. So I'm gonna give mine to Cody. Doug, has the deciding factor been you yet? I don't think it has. Yeah, we'll go to you next. We'll just stay in the order. We'll give it to you next. You go.
This is so tough.
This was good.
This was a good one. seeing Cody's face through every transition is just like all right. No, all right. So I get what Koho was going for when it came down to it didn't deserve the spot, and that's why they only gave it to 8 nominations, but he didn't elaborate on enough. I think that was a really strong point that Cody came out right from the beginning. You have 10 slots. Why not give it to the, you know, it won Best Animated Feature. It means it definitely should have gotten a slot. This is the problem with the Academy too. If you're not going to use all 10 spots, why have them? So I that argument was just so hard to combat for me. My point goes to Cody.
All right. So with that, your winner is Cody Newberry in a very close match. Maggie, your point did not count on this one. Where would you have gone?
I don't know. I was going to decide in the moment, I guess, but I had not decided. The problem is that I haven't seen any of the other 2004 nominees other than Lord of the Rings, which makes it really hard. Where like whenever 2 years ago that Spider-Verse was, I saw all of the Best Picture nominees, which makes it really hard for me. And like without to decide that without like my own biases coming in. Plus, Ko said something about there Nemo being the most emotional movie that year, and then I was like, yeah, bro, you didn't see Return of the King, did you? And that, is a thing, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. So.
All right. Well, Maggie refusing to vote for someone. Very interesting. Caleb, I think the best thing to come out of this match altogether will be the fact that Kaleb Koho had to say there's nothing special about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. By far, probably the words that will be on his tombstone when the coronavirus takes us all. But that's besides the point. Guys, this was a great match. This was a fun exhibition. Caleb, you did not win this exhibition, but did you have fun? Did you?
No, I love fighting Cody, but I have to say something. I can't believe Cody Newberry won a round without attacking my movie once. That's got to be a record. He attacked whether I'd seen movies, never once said anything wrong about Finding Nemo. So I have to applaud the man for that shit. That was good. But there's a reason why Cody's the best. Every time we fight, he finds a new way to fuck me, and it sucks because I always bring my A game, and this guy finds a way to loophole me into beating me, and I hate it. It's why he's gonna be my favorite debater to fight every time. I have to change the way I fight every time because of Cody. But yeah, no, that was a great fight. I had fun, and I want to play Call of Duty Warzone, and all of us cool down by killing people online.
Fair enough. Cody, how do you feel about winning this exhibition match?
I mean, I didn't really have to attack Finding Nemo because I think it's good, but I just basically used the nominees as the weight because I knew you hadn't watched them. And I loved how you described Lost in Translation because you were able to I think that's the one you have seen because you actually gave words about it. The rest you saw nothing.
I bullshitted absolutely every word about every nominee that wasn't in there.
When I got first pick and picked Spider-Verse, I knew it was an uphill battle for him because I think it's his second favorite.
My second favorite movie ever.
Yeah, so I knew I was pretty much in the driver's seat, and I knew there was only 8 nominees that year. So I was like, please tell me why it doesn't deserve at least one spot. That's rude. And then he said there's nothing original. That was funny. No, I had a lot of fun. I do like it. I don't like it because it made me nervous near the end. I was like, I haven't done this in a while. What's going to happen? But no, Caleb gets so fiery and so fun to just piss off. So it was beautiful to watch. But next time, Sonic, next time. So it was fun. I can't wait for the next time we play.
Well, maybe we should make this a either annual or semi-annual event, the Cody versus Caleb exhibition match.
Let's not make this a semi-annual event, please.
Maybe next time we'll do a themed one. We'll do an all Disney fight or something like that. I don't know. That would be fun. But Maggie, any final words on the match?
This was stressful. Let's not do it again, or just don't invite me next time.
At Maggie, I agree. Retweet. Don't invite me either.
And Dog, what about you?
I'm retweeting what Maggie said because this was super stressful.
We gotta get Robert in here, who is so.
Let Robert play Cody. I'll watch that.
Robert is an active competitor in the current title picture. He cannot play right now in an exhibition, but in the
6
future,
months, let him play.
No, I'm saying judging, not playing.
I want Cody to fucking fight Robert. That'd be fun.
That would be fun. We should do that fight. That fight would be great. The next exhibition match, Cody versus Robert. It's
booking it. That's
all right. But guys, thank you so much for watching this exhibition match. This was a lot of fun. In a couple weeks, we've got a new match. We've got Ryan Payne versus Nico Suave Rigoli. That's coming in 2 weeks' time. So be on the lookout for that. Both trying to get to the title. Nico trying to redeem himself. He's 0-2 in this league, so we'll see if he can get a win on his record. We'll see what happens. But guys, again, thank you so much for watching. For Doug, for Maggie, for Caleb, and for the winner of this exhibition, Cody, thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you guys in a couple weeks with another match. See you later, bitches.